G'day everyone, welcome to Kozzie Bros Podcast, episode 5 this time. And where are we today? We're actually outside. Kihoon, where are we?
We're at 예술의 전당, which is literally just across from Arirang.
Yes.
So we're in 서초구, 서초동, very close to Nambu Terminal.
Yes.
And I'm loving this place.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful weather. You can see some of the trees blooming, and you can see the actually, it was really overcast this morning, but now it's actually quite nice. And we actually got permission to film here today, so we can relax and not worry about other people coming in and trying
Telling
to
us
disturb.
to piss off.
Yeah. Exactly. So we're gonna talk whatever today, but actually no, we do have a request by one of our subscribers who was like, you know what, guys, I want you to talk about this. I'll leave the comment just above us here. And I thought, yeah, that's not a bad subject to talk about. I mean, it's a relevant subject. People want to know. People, experience this sort of stuff. It's not fun. It's not going to be entertaining. I guess we can make it a little bit entertaining, but I guess it's the topic of racism. And I guess how we dealt with it, if we dealt with it, what's it like here in Korea, what's it like there in Australia, and I'm sure you guys at home, if you're from other countries, you'll also tell us, what it's like in their country as well.
Definitely, because I mean, it is a sensitive topic, but we as because we're obviously Asian, we look Asian, and living in Australia, where it's a very multicultural country, it's always been a multicultural country, and back when we actually migrated to Australia, there weren't many Asians, especially like for Walter. He's mentioned it many times, including myself. There were only like 1 or 2, 3 Korean students at my school, and they just saw me as all Chinese. Like, we're just all Chinese to them. Like,
that was the first racist thing, right? It was just like...
Do you remember, like, people saying, Ching Chong?
Yeah,
Ching Chong China.
Ching Chong China. And the main racist thing back in the day was the
Ching Chong China. That was it. And I thought, what is Ching Chong China? They probably didn't know either. They still don't know what Ching Chong China means. But it's just a racial remark. Obviously, it doesn't mean anything, but... we had the split we have smaller eyes because we want to see just what we want to see.
Yeah. I don't know why that was such a thing as well. It was like, oh, you all look the same. Okay, most of us have dark brown hair, black hair, I get it. But to be honest with you, here's the thing that like white people don't know, or maybe people who are racist who don't know, to a lot of Asians, white people look the same as well.
They do.
Yes.
And they smell the same. No. Not to be racist.
Not to be
no
racist.
Offense.
But that's the thing. It was like, they didn't realize it, but back in the day, a lot of Asians thought Europeans looked the same.
They still do to me. But to be honest, I think we were the minority back in Australia, but it's pretty much the other way around here in Korea. We do see a lot of expats, like white people.
Yeah.
But we're not so fond of them, and I think even Koreans can be a little racist at times.
Oh, yeah.
Very racist, to be honest. But I think back in Australia, I was just called, just Chinese or North Korean, and I had to deal with it because if I didn't, I couldn't really blend in, and I was obviously a foreigner to that country. So I said this before in one of the other episodes. My way of actually blending in with those Australians or white people was playing sports.
Yeah.
And that really worked for me, but I don't know. How did it work for you? How did you really blend in?
So that was the thing, like you made a good remark there, is like you kind of had to deal with it. Like if like people were like calling you Ching Chong, you'd be like, yeah, whatever, okay. Yeah, that's funny, oh yeah, I get it, small eyes, But for me, like I guess I didn't really experience a lot of racism in my early school years. It was more my high school years that I got like where kids are a bit more mean, right? Like in primary school, they get pretty bad sometimes, but mainly in high school for me is when a lot of people, especially, so we had this Japanese exchange student program at our high school where a lot of Japanese students would come to our school and experience what it was like to live in the countryside. And whenever the Japanese students came over, I used to get the biggest teasing ever. It was like, oh, there's your family, there's your cousin, there's your sister, hey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all the time.
Because, it was a little different for me. Back in school, we had language classes, and we could choose from like German, French, and there was Japanese. Obviously not Korean.
Yeah.
So people were very open to Japanese people and the culture, obviously the language, and I learned Japanese as well. And it's funny how they separated Japanese from Koreans. Yeah, they didn't look at us in the same light. So obviously they all thought we were Chinese.
Yes, yes.
But within that group, people kind of thought, oh, Japanese, oh, we like the Japanese food.
Yeah,
we like the Japanese culture, things like that. But when I talked about Korea, they'll be like, what, North Korea, you know?
Yeah, because Hallyu wasn't around at that time,
Exactly.
right? It was just North Korea. Who was in charge at that time? Like
Kim
Jong-un.
Jong-il.
Oh, Kim Jong-il. Yeah. So it was all about North Korea. The reason why in Australia it was mainly Chinese who, we got labeled as Chinese is because there was a huge influx of Chinese workers that went into Australia. And then, do you remember Pauline Hanson?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. So she was a very unpopular politician in Australia, and she was against like immigration, and she was against like Aboriginals and everything. She was basically the Donald Trump before Donald Trump, but the female version, right? And I still think she's around in politics these days. But she was one of the ones that really spurred on the fact that like Asians coming into the country is a bad thing because they're bad for the economy, etc. And that's where I think a lot of the racism stemmed from, because I would always go back to your country, and I was like, I'm Australian. I speak just as good as English as you do. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like,
so I also think that's the reason why a lot of Asians in general, or like, of course, Koreans, we were called like bananas.
Yeah.
Like we were yellow on the outside,
Yellow out the
but we were
outside.
very white on the inside, just like a banana.
Exactly.
So yeah, a lot of my friends, they became really Aussie. So they didn't speak any Korean.
Yeah.
And they call themselves like Australians.
Yeah.
And I really couldn't connect with those kind of Korean Australians. So
yeah.
I was kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fob, nor was I like a banana.
Right.
So what like maybe a rotten banana, I don't know, somewhere in there. But I fully understand it now. Like now that I've grown up, that was what it is back then. It was like that back then. But now, thanks to the K-wave, Hallyu wave, everyone loves Korean. They appreciate Koreans. Like, they adore Korean, especially Korean men. Young gentlemen, not young like me, but I'm not young.
Yeah, we're not young anymore.
They just love the whole Korean, everything about Korea, Korean people, culture, food, and so on. So I think I'm really thankful that the K-wave just swept the world.
I wish it came a little bit earlier, like in our school days, though.
Better late than never, you know?
Better late than never.
So
for me, I found it really interesting that, because I had the opportunity in 2019 to go and host a Korean Cultural Festival as the MC, and I was so shocked how many people were like interested in Korean culture from when I was younger. Like we sort of talked about it before, from when we were in school, you'd have kimbap and people didn't know what kimbap was. But now people go to these Korean culture festivals and they know how to do the K-pop dances, they know the lyrics. I don't know if they know what the lyrics mean, but they know the lyrics and they know the chants and everything. I mean, it's so cool how far Australia has come when it comes to like, not just Koreans, but Asian society in general, and also other cultures as well. And now there obviously are tons of second generation Asians in Australia, and all of them speak as Aussie as we do now. But coming to Korea now, a lot of people are interested, like, you know, is Korea sort of a racist country? You mentioned it a little bit, right? But it's not just Korea is a racist country. I think every country is racist to a certain extent, isn't it?
I think every race is racist.
To be honest
against
with you.
another race, because I think especially with Korea, Korea was never really, not even now, a multicultural, multiracial country. But we are opening up our borders to accept more immigrants because of the low fertility rate. That's another issue that we should talk about much later.
Yeah.
Not today, but we need to be a bit more accepting, because I mean, we're living in a world, we're so connected. You know, globalization happened so many years back, and we're seeing so many different kinds of things all around the world, like through our smartphones. So
Yeah.
it's so easily accessible. So I think we have to become a bit more, I think, mature
Yeah.
at times and just accept other people for who they are. And I think because so many people are appreciating Korean culture, I think Koreans in return have to be a bit more open to receiving different types of races, cultures, and whatnot.
Here's a controversial question that like I could cut out just in case it gets too controversial. Do you think there is white privilege here in South Korea?
Oh, of course. Hell yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell yes. I noticed this when, so I was walking the street. I saw a white person asking a Korean of like about directions. And that Korean person did her best to speak English to that white person. And I thought, hey, what's going on? We're in Korea.
Yeah.
And a white person, a foreigner, is asking directions in English.
Yeah.
As though he was back in his country.
Yeah.
And the Korean lady is like doing her best trying to speak English when she couldn't speak proper English. So she was like going through Papago.
Yeah, Papago.
Going through her smartphone and like struggling so much trying to, just put the words out. And I'm thinking, no, that's not right. Come on. Like, he should have the courtesy to at least, ask in Korean. Try his best at least.
Best in
or
Korean.
like excuse himself for not being good at Korean and like speaking, simple English. But he wasn't doing that. I'm not saying he was rude, but
yeah.
that's why I think like Koreans have this, the white, like,
we put them on a pedestal. Let's
do.
not like beat around the bush. Honestly, it may be a controversial issue, but it is honest, and I don't think a lot of white foreigners would disagree with that. To be honest with you, like I saw it a lot in Hagwons as well, where they would advertise white people
White
over Asian
teachers.
people. No, it's absolutely true. Like when I was working for Hagwons, there would always be the white face on the front page or on the front web page. And Koreans would barely be seen unless it was a different sort of topic, like TOEIC or something, because mainly Koreans do that. But also, and this is not attacking white people at all. It's just how our society, it is how our society has been doing it, and it's nothing but sort of the Koreans' fault in this way. I mean, we have a TV show. We have several TV shows dedicated to people. This is one thing that bugs me. Okay, this is a thing that really bugs me. Have you seen those YouTube videos or those viral clips that go online where it's like white person speaks fluent English in restaurant? No, not fluent English, fluent Chinese. And it's supposed to be like the biggest thing in the world. Like, oh my God, this white person can then speak Chinese. And we have a show in Korea that is specifically aimed at just having foreigners who speak Korean really well. But we don't, in Australia, you don't have shows of Asian people who speak English very well. Like, there's no variety shows about that.
We're viewed in a very different light, especially Asians. But I think nowadays, look, I have nothing. I can't be a racist person. As someone who experienced racism, I know how it feels to be like, criticized for how you look. So I don't want to become the same person and, be a racist person in return. But I think, like Koreans in general, we do kind of look up to white people in general.
I think that's the old school generation.
It
as
is.
well,
Nowadays it's very different. But I think the main reason was because, not only because of the American dream, but Koreans are very obsessed with like speaking fluent English.
They are.
So whenever they meet a white person, immediately they think, oh, that person is obviously good at English. So I need to speak better English to communicate with that person. But that's not the case. It's kind of the other way around now. People are learning Korean overseas. Have you realized that? There's so many 한글학교 and like Korean studies, even in the States, all around the world, actually, even in Europe, Australia as well. So, Korean as a language is, the new wave now. So people are trying so hard to learn Korean. So let's speak more Korean.
I think so. Like you said,
한국말로 하자, 한국말로.
한국말 하자. I always get teased by Kihoon when I speak Korean, so I can't speak Korean in front of him because he makes fun of me. And I'm so shy.
No, you gotta try.
I know.
해봐 그냥. 어때?
Maybe
한국말로 하자, 한국말로.
should we? That's something that I also thought about doing in this podcast. Is
Walter learns Korean.
Walter learns Korean. Should we mix it up? Should we sometimes speak in Korean? Would you guys like to hear us like? Would you like to hear my poor Korean? And would you like to hear his good Korean? Would you like to hear him tease me a lot? Because I'm down for that. Like
I think that would be a good content.
I think that'd be great content. But for Korea, yeah, going back to the white privilege thing, I think it is getting less and less, but you can't deny the fact that some, not all, but like some of the oldest citizens, they look down on like the Southeast Asian countries. As you can see, it's very windy at the moment.
Your phone's shaking.
Yeah. If anything, we'll just use this camera and this camera just to talk. But yeah, Southeast Asian countries, they don't really, get some good rap here sometimes, do they?
I think it's also like the type of work they do here in Korea.
Yeah.
The reason they come to Korea is obviously just to work and make money, and the type
Yeah.
of work they do is, I guess, not like a white collar job.
Yeah, that's
obviously.
true.
So, but things are changing, and I'm sure that migration law has to change as well here in Korea. But like I said, we need to be a bit more accepting, open to different people.
Yeah.
Especially Korea.
Yeah.
Because we need to look at this in a different light. Not on a fucking. Sorry, did I say fuck?
Yeah, you can say fuck.
Say fuck.
You can say fuck.
Yeah, we've got to stop being, racist and just, I don't know, just.
Do you think, but here's the thing, in this question out there to you guys as well, do you think racism will ever stop?
No.
No, I don't think so either. I don't want to be pessimistic about the world, but, there's always that.
Unless we have more mixed people. Let's say if I get married to like a Vietnamese girl or a Filipino, and have a baby who's half Korean, half Filipino. Maybe in the future, if everyone gets mixed, have a different mixture of background, ethnic background, then maybe it might disappear eventually. But if we just have 100% Korean, 100% Australian, which there aren't many, but in Korea it's we're all just 100% Korean, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure I don't have any black background.
Or white background, or we might. We just don't know.
I can find out, but
I'm not going to find out.
I don't want to.
One of our friends, she's 2% Jamaican?
Yes, she is. And she has that blood. I can tell when she runs.
Yeah, when she runs.
She runs like Usain Bolt.
Yeah. So I know that she watches this, so I'm sure she's laughing at the moment. One of our friends on News Generation is 2% Jamaican, supposedly. But here's the thing, like you said, if we were mixed, maybe it would be better. But at the moment, a lot of mixed groups are getting racially abused as well.
We're not there yet. We're getting there, and I think the younger generation need to be a bit more open, because I'm sure the older generation, they weren't used to seeing, people from overseas living in Korea with different skin color, eye color, whatever, hair color. So, but nowadays we're seeing more and more people from all around the world come to Korea, not just to visit as tourists, but to actually live here as well. So, I mean, if we see them, the younger ones should be, I guess, a bit more mature.
Yeah.
Approach them first. Be nicer to them,
Yeah, of course.
Don't look down on them because they're not white.
Yeah.
Because they're shorter than you.
Yeah.
Or uglier than you. We should get rid of that. It's just really stupid. We should be, a bit more civilized. Try to
love one another.
Yeah, or maybe teach them English. No, sorry. Did I say English?
Oh my God, he's so racist.
한국말도 좀 알려주고 한국 사람으로서 좀
그쵸.
시민의 의식을 좀 높이면서.
So, yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think, we didn't really talk much about Australia, but I guess we talked about racism in general. But do you think, if you've been to Korea, did you experience racism? Did you have people just randomly walk through your video while you're clearly making a video? People these days, they just don't care, I guess.
That was so racist. He was being racist to Australians.
I know. He wasn't respecting our Australian heritage. But no, what do you guys think? Do you think there's white privilege? I was going to say white power then for some reason. No, white privilege in Korea. Do you think it's not? Do you think we're wrong? We're always up for debate. I'm always down for a debate, and a civilized debate, not something where we have to go back and forth with akpul or hateful comments. Don't, make fun of us for sure, but don't be racist towards us or anything like that. That's a bit silly, but. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to have to leave it today.
Yeah. I think next episode we can do something a bit more lighter.
Yeah. More
tastier,
fun.
Maybe talk about Korean food, our favorite kind of.
I think that's what we're going to do.
Top 5 Korean food.
Top
our
5
own list.
Korean foods.
We can share it with you guys as well, especially around this whole area.
I think this
Or
would
not
be,
even Seoul, like maybe in Busan or Gangwon-do.
that would be great as well.
Because, you
Because, yeah, like that person said, like in our comments, everyone thinks about Seoul, right?
It's-
Korea is so much more than just Seoul, even though Seoul is a beautiful place, as you can see. It's a beautiful place.
I'll be honest with you, it's 90% Seoul,
It's 20% Seoul. It really is.
5% Busan, 4% Jeju-do, 1%
Yeah,
Gangwon.
exactly.
No, I'm joking.
But it's kind of true though.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, let us know what you think about today's topic. Let us know what kind of topics you want to hear, and get ready for Kihoon's. By the way, you got the Korean 조대구 thing wrong again last week.
I
By the way,
know.
can you remember it now this time?
조대구알.
Yeah, maybe. I don't.
조대구알.
조대구알?
조대구알.
Okay.
조대구알.
We'll see. When I edit this video, we'll see if you're right again. I don't know because you're
But
wrong
I came
last
up with
time.
my own acronym. You know?
Yeah, and
LCLAC.
Yes.
Sounds cool, doesn't it?
LCLAC.
LCLAC.
Let's see if it catches on. Anyway,
LCLAC.
anyway, let's see you next week, and hopefully we have more comments, more likes, more views. And until next time, Kihoon.
Bye.
Bye. All right.